Thank you for checking out my channel. I'm going to be giving out some advice or just plain talking about a certain topic. Today's topic is relationships. Now, I want to go ahead and give a quick disclaimer, or a kind of quick disclaimer. First disclaimer, these are just my opinions. These aren't really facts. I might be stating some things, but just know that these are my opinions. You don't have to listen to them. This is just my take on why things happen in relationships. So if you like these, please like, share, and subscribe. I would love to make more videos like this if you guys like this or whoever's listening. So let me go ahead and just talk about like one of the first things I've noticed about people in relationships. One of the things, it basically is cheating. People always have to ask, why do men cheat? Why do women cheat? And just to do another quick disclaimer on this channel, I will try to say people do this and people do that. Because if I say people, it includes men and women. I will probably slip up and say men or women at some point in time, but I'll prelude that with the word with most or some, because I don't believe that all men do things, or I don't believe that all women do things, and vice versa. I don't believe that no woman ever would do this, or no man ever would do that. Some man somewhere has done something bad, so you can't just don't say never. So people always ask, why do people cheat? So I'm gonna try to give the perspective from my perspective, basically. So I haven't cheated. I would never cheat, but I do probably know why people cheat in the first place. So probably one of the reasons is a lack of communication. When people lack communication, what happens is that people start to, I guess, formulate these things in their heads, and they start planning out how they're going to get that person back and the attention that they're not getting. So let me just go and give a scenario. Say, for instance, there's a man and a woman in a relationship. Let's just say, and remember, I'm not assuming that men or women cheat. People cheat, and that's a fact. Now, let's just say in this situation, the woman cheated, right? So the man didn't give the woman enough attention. But what happens is that the woman just cheats without telling the man anything. She doesn't really talk to the man about what's happening in her life. She doesn't go up to the man and say, look, I feel that you're not giving me any attention. I feel this, I feel that, I feel this. So I would appreciate it if you would do this and this and this. And then if the man is actually a man and would step up to the plate, and if he loves you, he would lighten up. He would try to spend more time with you because you're worth it. And if he says, okay, I'll do it, and doesn't really do it, then that person's not the one for you. So what people would do in this situation is they would say, okay, if he's not going to listen to me, if he's still going to play his game or hang out with his friends or do all this other stuff, then I'm going to go ahead and find somebody who will. But the whole issue is that the person who is going to cheat doesn't leave the relationship first, right? So they don't say, okay, we're breaking up, and then you go to try to find somebody else. What they do is the man or the woman will try to find somebody to like be with, have sex with, and then they'll do that, and they want to be with you while getting the attention from this other person. Now, let's just say in the same situation, the woman gets caught in the act of cheating. And then the man's like, I gave you all of this and I gave you all of that. Then in the situation where the woman said, if you're the woman in the situation, you don't have to say, oh, I did this or I did that. Like, you already talked to him before about changing the attitude, spending more time with you. So it's not really your fault. But I'm also not condoning cheating, because you could have easily just left instead of just going out and straight cheating. Now, for those of you who say, oh, cheating is an accident, cheating is not an accident. Because if you cheat, that means you gave your consent for you to have sex with somebody else, because there's no cheating on accident. If you cheat on accident, that means, for me, you didn't give your consent for that person to have sex with you. If you gave your consent for somebody to have sex with you, then that's no accident. You didn't accidentally give your consent. So what my advice is, if someone can't lighten up in a relationship like that, if you're the man, and if it was a man or this is a woman, and that person can't change, then leave that person. Because would you rather stay in a relationship and try to change somebody who won't change, or would you rather find somebody else and stop wasting your time? So that's one of the things, was communication and why people cheat in the first place. So I haven't cheated before, but I know people who have, and like way back in the day, I know people who have, and I always find this common situation where one person will, when they cheat and they feel embarrassed. You know how when people get embarrassed, they start lashing out. That's what people do. So let's switch it up. Let's say the man was cheating. Let's say the woman was the woman was too busy, tried to give the man attention. Now the man was cheating, and then the woman catches the man in the relationship, is having sex with whoever, and then the woman cries, and then the man says, "Oh, you should have given me more attention. You should have done this. You should have done that. You should have done this." Where was all this passion when you started? When you felt that way? Like, at least talk to her about it. And if she doesn't lighten up, or she doesn't respect your wishes, then just leave. Like, this person's obviously not the one for you, and staying is going to hurt you even more. So that's a hard decision, but people make hard decisions. Everyone makes hard decisions for the betterment of themselves. And if you have the guts to make the right decision to leave, then yeah, leave. But you shouldn't be staying with anybody who's mentally going to keep cheating on you like this. Because when you catch somebody in the act, I'm going to be truthful with you. If you catch somebody in the act and you take them back, what's going to happen is that they're going to cheat again, but they're going to be more discreet about it. Because they're going to be, when you say, "Oh, I'm not going to cheat again," that means they're not going to cheat, and they're going to make sure that they're very, very discreet about it. So that's why they say once a cheater, always a cheater. Because most of the times when someone cheats, they always cheat again. Now, when the few times where people actually learn their lesson from cheating and don't cheat again is because of something that may have happened, or like a misunderstanding, and then everything's cleared up and they feel sorry for all the things that they did. But all the other times where people just cheat because they don't get enough attention, then getting enough attention really isn't a reason if you don't talk about it. Like, say for instance, if you're not getting enough attention, and then somebody's like, I cheated because, let's see, you didn't give me this, or you wasn't talking to me, or blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, if you can physically know that you didn't give this person attention, then you have to think to yourself, well, maybe I deserve this. Also, don't think that way. Please don't think that way, because no one deserves to get cheated on. But what I do believe, however, is revenge cheating. I do believe that an eye for an eye exists, and that people should get revenge. Like, it's not like, let me just go ahead and cheat and then have this guy fuck me, or just go fuck this girl, and then, everything's fine. Okay, and then we're not going to cheat on each other anymore. That person wasn't cheating on you. You were the one that cheated. So the whole thing with you saying, I didn't get enough attention, will be like, it's like, that's not a good reason to cheat. Talk with the person. If they don't listen, then just break up with them, and then you can go and do whatever. And I've been saying all this time that people would leave relationships because of they don't get enough attention. But there's a lot of reasons. Some people cheat because some guys or some girls like variety. You would see some guys just want to have multiple girlfriends because they want to like say, oh, I'm dating this Asian girl, or I'm dating this Mexican girl, or this black girl. They want to have like varieties, like kind of different like flavors and stuff like that. Also for girls, they want to like date other guys and stuff like that. So, and it is, I think, a double standard when you're going into a relationship and you want people to be in your relationship. Like, there are people who get jealous. So when you say that, I'm talking about polyamory right here. So when you talk about bringing somebody into your relationship and you speak on, okay, we're going to go ahead and bring this person into our relationship, and then the person's not okay with it, then the person who's not okay with it is probably thinking, like, why does she want somebody else to be in a relationship? So I'm saying this is a double standard because guys would love to have two girlfriends at the same time and have sex with them, talk with them, take them out on dates, whatever. But they will not be in a polyamorous relationship with another guy and that girl because he doesn't want to share. Now, if the girl doesn't want to share you, then you have to be respectful that, okay, let's not bring another girl into a relationship. Like some people who want to be polyamorous are bi. So it doesn't really matter if it's a girl or a boy in a relationship, or a guy or a girl in a relationship. Both of them will have fun. But if one person's straight in a polyamorous relationship, he more than likely won't share because it comes to the fact that which one do you love more? Which one do you like more? And then some people don't believe that you can like something equally, you know? So, yeah, I believe that cheating is not an accident, and polyamory is okay unless you don't tell somebody about it. Like, oh, I want to be in a polyamorous relationship, but you don't tell your other partner about it. Then that's cheating. Unless both people know, or all three people know that all of us are in a relationship, then that's fine. And the reason why I say it'll work better for people who are bi is because the guy will only have sex with the girl, and then it's like this guy is having sex with that same girl, but you guys, since both of you are straight, you can't have sex with each other. Now, if both of you are bi, then it's like you guys can have sex with each other, and then all three of you can have like a threesome or enjoy whatever you guys want. But just make sure that everyone knows about it, and also stay safe. But make sure that all three people know that you guys are in a polyamorous relationship. Now, the next thing I want to speak on is going into something more serious, commitment. So some girls, or most girls, want to find out why can't most guys or some guys be committed in a relationship. Like, I mean committed as in, I'm going to tie you down, we're going to get married, we're going to have kids. That's perfectly fine if you want to do that. I want to do that in the future. I'm going to do that in the future. But it's the thing of, why can't guys do it? Now, most people who complain about this are like my age, like 26, 27, and sometimes even 21 or 22. The thing about all of this is that people want to have fun. People want to enjoy their youth. And if you think about it, I know somebody's grandparents or parents would have said, or probably would say, or did say this: I wish I would have done that at your age. I wish I would have did this when I was a kid. Or I wish I would have done this. Some people are bound to a relationship, and if their wife doesn't want to travel, if their wife is scared of planes, then they can't travel. If you want to go out, you have to check with your wife first. And say for instance, and then in this case, I'm speaking on just mainly for girls trying to find out why guys can't be committed. So that's why in this case, I'm just thinking about, okay, the girls want to know why this is not happening. So I don't want to be committed right now. Like, my whole thing is, I want to enjoy my 20s, and then in my 30s, then I want to go ahead and start settling down, thinking about a house and all that stuff. But here's my little ladder thing about what people should be doing in certain ages. So from the time you're born until, I would say, 13, that would be focusing on being a kid. Like, doing all this other stuff, believing Santa is real, You still have your wonder at that time, but then your wonder and innocence slowly starts to decrease between the ages of 13 to like 18, because you start finding out the real world. Like you start learning about death, sex, drugs, money. You start learning about the bad things in life, and then your innocence slowly starts to decline. So in the time that you're 18, and between 18 and 20, you have a lot of freedom, but your freedom is restricted by you not being able to drink. But when you're 18 or 20, say you're 18 or 20 in college, that's your time to explore college. That's your time to be free. Like when you're in college, you're put into an area where you can basically do anything you want that doesn't get you in trouble. But then you start suffering for your own consequences. So your mom and dad can't be there anymore. Now I'm going to tie this into a commitment a little bit later. So that when you're 21, between 21 and I would guess 30, that's your time to have full on freedom. You get no classes. You would be going out into the world, being yourself, and then you'll be able to do a lot of other stuff like get a car. You'll be able to travel. You have all this freedom. And what people would do is that they would want to get married at like 21, 22, 23, 24. They want to get into a relationship and lock somebody down so early to the fact they can't enjoy their life. So, let's say this. Let's say a girl locks down a guy, right? And then the guy wants to travel, but the girl is scared of planes. That means that guy cannot travel. Because more than likely, some girls won't say, okay, go and have fun in this other country. I'll just be here. Because somebody's going to get jealous. Because you guys are apart for so long, somebody's going to be jealous because you guys aren't even in a relationship. So somebody's going to be jealous that somebody's doing something fraudulent, unless you have complete and utter trust in that person, which trust doesn't really exist anymore. So if you have complete and utter trust in somebody, then I guess that's okay. Because then you'll be able to do things. If your partner if you know your partner's trustworthy, then the partner can go to all these fun places and not having to worry about the girl checking in on the guy. Because I've heard a lot of weird, crazy stories like they've never seen a girl cheat in their life, and guys are always the ones who cheat, which is not true. And I'm not saying girls are always the one cheating. I'm saying people cheat. Guys and girls cheat. Both sides cheat for various reasons, which I don't really condone, because I would suggest you talk with the person about your problems first, and if they don't respect your problems, then you leave, because they're not the ones for you. But what all this ties into commitment is when you would, I guess, you would get married at a very young age, so you can't really do all the things that you want to do. You can't go to certain places. You can't do certain things without either checking in with your girlfriend. And if you go somewhere without her, then she's going to get upset. Then you guys are going to have a problem, right? So that's why I don't want to get married until I'm like 30, 31, 32. And then that's when I want to do all the things that I want to do. Because I'm planning to have my full-on career and my dream job by 31, 32. So that when I have a kid and when I am married, I won't tell my kid, oh, I wish I did this at your age, because, well, that won't exist. I would have already done what he did at his age. So I would be able to live as a married man with no regrets and not even have the slightest urge to cheat, or I wouldn't even look at a woman anymore, because I got all that out when I was single. So I think that's called getting your whole phase out. So unless you love a woman and you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and marry this woman, which I want to just project that 50% of marriages always end in divorce. But if you really love a woman and you want to stay with her, then yeah, go ahead and that's fine. But just don't complain that oh, she's not doing this, she's not doing that, she's not doing this. Because here's the other thing. If you don't know how a man or woman is at their best, then or if you don't know how they are at their worst, then you don't know technically what their best is. Because It's kind of like if you want to marry somebody and then they sleep in the same bed as you and you see them without their makeup, you have to still love them as much as you can with even if they did have makeup on. Or say for instance, if your wife went broke and you can support her, right? And then if her being broke is no problem and you're going to support her until she gets back on her feet, then that's some type of love. But to switch perspectives for a second and to say that to talk from the guy's perspective, some guys don't want to be committed because they feel like all girls want is money. Now, here's where I'm going to segue into another section. So it's basically both genders or sexes or whatever think the other sex only wants one thing. Guys think what girls want is money. Girls think what guys want is sex. So you can't. So when girls would say, "Oh, sex is always in a person's mind," or "Sex is always in a guy's mind," sex is a big part of a relationship. As with money, money is also a big part of a relationship. I'm not undermining one or the other not being a big part in a relationship. I'm just saying, um, if sex is always on a guy's mind, then that guy is not ready to be married yet. That's like me. I'm not ready to be married yet because I want to get all of that out before I get married, so I can be fully committed to one person. Like sometimes people who meet in high school won't last because you're staying in a relationship and the relationship goes stale after a while. That's why some people will like if you get married in high school, right? You have to go to their same college and then you have to have same plans after college. You can't just think short term and like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and stay with this person, provide for this person, go to the same high school, college, and live in the same place after they want to go to college. Because they could easily just say, have one idea in high school, and then in college they can say, I want to go into the military. And you don't like a person going into a military because they can't stay home and be there for you. So that's the other thing. That's the other thing about that. So just make sure that you get all of that out first before you go into a relationship. Now, another thing I want to talk about as people are in relationships is the whole fact that this relationship standard has gone up so high in pleasing your partner. I know people have noticed that, okay, you have to give, like before, your parents would woo girls with like, or your dad would woo your mom with like chocolates, flowers, cards, or stuff like that. And that was perfectly fine. That's how you would woo women. But now the thing is that you have to buy women, or you would have to buy most women, um, all this stuff. Like you have to pay for their dinner and all this other stuff and all this other stuff. And that's a good thing to do. But now I feel that it's just being taken advantage of. Like some girls will like you, and then they'll say, yeah, we can go out for dinner, and you pay for their entire meal, and then the very next day they say, yeah, I just want to be friends, because they're using you as like a free meal ticket. Like they try to. Okay, I'm just gonna reiterate. This isn't all girls, but some girls are like kind of like leeches, and I'm gonna get to the guys too. But some girls will date guys who have a lot of money, expect them to pay for everything. They do, and when they run out of money, they leave and find somebody else who has a lot of money. Now, for the guys per se, the guys want a woman who, like guys would want a woman to like dress up nice, look pretty, and all this stuff, and that's a way to woo a man. But nowadays, a woman has to have like certain physical features. She has to be very thin. She has to do this. She has to do that, which is one of the main reason why some of these women feel insecure about themselves, because guys always want to put them down, and they say, okay, you're too big, or you're too tall, you're too short, you're too skinny, you're too fat. It's always you're too this. Like people can't control some of these actions. Like if girl has two parents who are big, of course she's going to end up being big. Like, tell me one person who is big but ends up being very, very, very thin and very muscular. Like, the only time I've seen that happen is in It too, with that one boy who grew up and was like really ripped, even though that wasn't the same actor. So I believe the standard in a relationship has gone up. But the message that I have for guys and girls is just that, like somebody for who they are. Like, looks change and personality might change, but looks change. And money changes. Somebody can go from being rich to being broke in like a snap. Like, somebody can file bankruptcy and their whole world can turn upside down. Imagine if you, say for instance, a man marries a woman and then the woman ends up going broke, right? If the woman goes broke, then all of those friends that she met through getting that money is gonna leave. All her worldly possessions are gonna get taken away. Her man's gonna leave her because she doesn't have all that money, and all this comes from her income, and it shouldn't come from her income. That's why. And as for guys too, when guys try to flash around all that jewelry, and you try to find and you want to like find friends, those aren't going to be your friends. But that, I'm going to actually save that for another video. But this ties back into being in a relationship, is that it doesn't matter how rich or how poor somebody is. As long as you're with them and you stick with them and you communicate, then everything will be okay. You'll have a happy relationship. And I would suggest, if you didn't take away anything from this video, communicate with your partner. If your partner can't communicate, leave. That's all I have to say. Now I'm going to end the video here. If you like the video, please give this a like. If you want me to talk about something else, just go ahead and leave that in the comments. I would love to know what your thoughts are on relationships, and what advice would you give to somebody who is actually looking for a relationship. So that is it, and I will see you guys later.